Hi there, this is a quick video. We're just going to show you about working with large amounts of data, doing grouping using pivot tables. So we did sort of have a look at this spreadsheet in the course and have a look at the ways that we're going to sort of summarize the information. Just want to show you one more way. So this is pivot tables. So we might have touched on them briefly in the course. They are fairly simple to use. They do take a bit of playing to get your head around, but hopefully this will give you an idea of what they can be used for. So I've got this information here and I want to represent this in a number of different ways. So I'm going to have to make a few different reports, look at a few different things. I need my information to be quite flexible. So pivot tables are excellent for this. So the first thing I'm going to do is just select the information that I want to form a pivot table. It should be in the format similar to this. So you've got column headings up the top and then you've got information that sort of makes sense down underneath that. So I'm just going to go ahead and select all of that information there. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is going to come up to the Insert tab up the top here, and then once I've clicked on that, I'm going to click on the Pivot Table option. So when I do that, I get a dialog box that pops up, and it asks me a few different things. So it says, select the table or range that you want to analyze. I've just done that, so that's all good. If not, you can choose that now. You've also got the option here of using external data source. If you're working out of Access or a SQL server, that SQL one, you can certainly get data from there, from one of the tables, and work with it in Excel. So that's something you might be interested to do. If you've got to get information out of Access and work on it, you can just link straight to it. The next bit asks you where you want the pivot table to go. I would suggest using a new worksheet. You can put it in an existing worksheet if you want it to sort of summarize underneath something else, but for the most part I just put it in a new one. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK on that. Once it's done that, it brings up with a dialog box. So here we have basically what it looks like to begin with. So we've got our control boxes on the right. We've also got our pivot table on the left there. So what we need to do now is we need to decide what information we want to go in there. So I might be interested to look at sales by date by different salespersons. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at total sales is my values. So I'm just going to pop that in there. I'm going to do my column headers as salespersons, and then I'm going to look at the date for my row labels. So it's just as simple as dragging and dropping it in there. Now you can see that this is sort of a little bit all over the place because it's doing it by day. This is one of the best things. If you've got values that are by date, what you can now do is you can actually just right click on one of the rows, and you've got this option here to group. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on group, and I can actually group them by months. So they're all just grouped by months now. So I've got January, February, March, that's all grouped in there nicely. I can see the amount of sales that each person made. So Chris in January made $4,000 worth of sales. I can also go and format all this area here. So value field settings, sum, show values as. Number format is the one I'm after down there, and I want it to be a currency because this is in dollars, so that's all fine. I'm just going to click OK. So I can change whether it's a sum, a count, or an average, or a few other things in there as well. So there, we've now got the total sales for the months and the total sales overall. We've got the sales per person. As you can see, I didn't do much work there, Robin, myself there, until the last little bit, but so that's that one. Whenever you click on the pivot table, you get this option come back up. So you can start to put filters in as well. So if I wanted to look at that information, but I wanted to look at it and have it filtered by a particular customer, so I want to look at this information but only to what's been sold to ABC Training, I can click on that and it will narrow it down for those ones there. So I can look at a particular one, or Mary Smith there. If I want to get rid of that filter, I can either just drag it out of there or get rid of it. The other thing we can do is we can do what is called nesting column titles. So if we wanted to look at the customer name as well under the salesperson, we can actually prop that under there. And then what we've got there is we've actually got these nested folders. So I'm just going to drag them all down. So we can actually have that information in there. So we can look in each month, we can go, okay, Chris did $4,000 in the month of January. and in the month of January he did that by $4,000 to Jim's Music. In February he did 4,000 ABC training, and in March he did 10,000 to this company there, and that's the total there. So we can now start having nesting folders. If I wanted to change that so it was the other way around, so it was done by company name, I can actually just change the order of these. So if I put salesperson underneath customer name, I now have ABC training. In the month of January was sold $750 worth of stuff by Jessica and $2,500 of stuff by Nick. Let me write that down. The same can be done for the row labels as well. So if I wanted to have it by a salesperson in that one there, I could certainly do that. You can say there Chris, so it comes over that way as well. So it's just rearranged that information for me. So you can see that this is a very, very flexible way of working with your data. You can certainly just move the move these titles around and see lots of different views. You can take them out, you can put them in. As I said, you've got different report filters that you can put on if you want to narrow it down. This is certainly a very, very flexible way of viewing information. The only thing is that it does require you to refresh it. So if you change the information under, I've got my sales information there. So if I was to make this sale suddenly, just can make it a huge amount so it's easy to see. I'm going to come back to my pivot table. Nothing changes until I right click on it and I press the refresh button. And when I do that, you'll see that these numbers have changed quite significantly. So that's just one thing to be aware of. You do need to refresh this pivot table. I think it refreshes on open when you open up the Excel spreadsheet for the first time, but if you make changes to the information, you actually need to refresh the pivot table. And that's pivot tables. They do require a little bit of a playing around with. If you want some more specific examples to work with this, if you're sort of trying to get your head around it and you're like, oh, I think it'd be easier if you showed me so this sort of way, I'm more than happy to do that. As always, my email address is robin@scopetraining.com.au. If you want some more information, feel free to give us a call. I hope that was helpful for you. Let us know if you want any more information on that. Thanks.